As I said a couple of days ago, Tome of Magic was one of my favorite D&D 3.5 books, and the best thing to come out of the supplement was the Binder class and the entire Pact magic system. I converted it to GURPS a very long time ago, and only now I decided to revise it and make it cheaper, more streamlined, and more attractive to players. So what is it all about? Entities that should not exist reside in a place that cannot be. These entities, feared by the mortals and cursed by the gods, exist beyond life, death, and afterlife. Even the greatest deities cannot affect them, but they can be summoned and used by the weakest of mortals. A user of Pact magic called a Binder contacts these alien entities called Vestiges, using special symbols and rituals. After summoning it, he makes a pact with it to gain some of its supernatural abilities. Pact magic is banned or stigmatized in almost all civilized societies. To be able to bind Vestiges, the Binder must have the following advantage: Vestige binding. It is based on the Law advantage, with immediate preparation required 1 minute, magical, nuisance effect vulnerable to dispel possession, and requires a drawn seal. The Law variant of the alternate form advantage was introduced in GURPS horror The Madness Dossier. Though you can only bind one vestige at a time, you can have multiple vestiges available for binding. A single vestige costs 7 points plus 90% of the total point value of the advantages, disadvantages and skills granted by the vestige. If you have multiple vestiges, calculate the highest priced vestige and pay for that package. Further vestiges cost 7 points each. To bind a vestige, the character must draw the vestige seal. Any surface and drawing method will do. This process takes 1 minute and requires a successful symbol drawing binding skill roll. But the drawn seal can be reused later. The seal must cover at least 1 hex. Next, the character summons the vestige's illusory image by calling out its name, title, and performing other ritualistic actions. This takes 1 minute. After the image appears, the pact is forged, and the vestige transfers into the binder's body. Vestige transference into the binder's body takes 10 seconds, during which the binder can act and fight normally. The vestige overrides the binder's personality, but will still go along with his agenda. The binder keeps his skills and most advantages and disadvantages, although some traits override the binder's normal state. The GM should decide when a trait from the vestige's template would clash or be redundant with the one with the binder, and adjust the vestige's template accordingly. Binding a vestige costs 1 FP, and the effect lasts 3 minutes. After that period, extending binding costs 1 FP every 6 minutes. The vestige departs if the binder is rendered unconscious. The possession can also be ended prematurely by casting Dispel Possession on the binder. For example, let's check one of the vestiges, Ipos, Prince of Fools, or maybe Epos. I always pronounced him as Epos. It has the following template. Thus, to be able to bind Ipos, you have to buy Vestige Binding Ipos, that will cost 7 plus 34 points, that is 41 points. If you would like to be able to bind other vestiges, you can choose ones with template cost of 34 points or under. For example, you can buy Vestige Binding Amon for only 7 points, and Vestige Binding Halfax for 7 more points. This way, your character will have 3 sets of interchangeable abilities, but switching between them will require some time and preparation. I have converted all the D&D 3.5 vestiges, but you can come up with your own to flesh out the power repertoire and world building of your setting. If you are looking for ideas, consider taking a look at the third-party supplements, such as Secrets of Pact Magic and Villains of Pact Magic. However, I recommend staying away from their Pathfinder versions that have some questionable materials, let's put it that way. I think that now that I am not using the very expensive Morph advantage, Vestige Binding becomes more appealing to the players. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.